Hi guys, it's Blackie and welcome back to the channel. Okay, today we're going to talk about fishing kits and for carrying in the field. Now I like to break fishing kits down to we're going fishing, where that's today's activity. That's the boat, that's the 4 or 5 rod and reels, cane poles, tackle boxes, etc. That's a fishing day. We're here to catch food for the family in mass quantities if possible. Okay? A step down from that is, let's say I'm going on a hike or an overnight camp or a 2 or 3 day camp out, and I want to fish as a supplement to my food I'm carrying. So we're going to set up next to the lake, and once or twice, I'll go out there and see if I can catch something. I'm not going to carry a big old rod and reel and everything with me because we're here predominantly as camping, and I'm just looking for an augment to the food source, in which case I tote my hobo fisherman. Now those of you that watch my channel a long time have seen this. I think my first video on this was like 2013 for this very thing. I learned to make these when I was a kid. This is simply a soup can. That's all that is. I think ravioli came in it. And this handle is a old broom handle I cut off. In the very bottom you can see I put a long wood screw. So I cut off the wood handle, I pre-drilled it down in a smaller diameter, deep enough so that when I screwed that big deck screw in there it wouldn't split it. And then I put that, I think it's about a 3-inch long screw into that hole and screwed it down together. Okay, you can tell it is not straight because I've used it a lot and I've kind of bent it a little bit over time. Now, fishing line is spiraled around the outside. I ran a couple of it, tied it tight, and you notice there's tape. I put the tape over it to hold it in place, and then I spiraled my line on, as much line as I want. There's about 30 feet of line, 40 feet of line on here. That's about it. I've got a loop here, a wrist lanyard, so I can grip it. I unhook the line, bring the line here, let my finger catch it. The lure will be hanging down here, and then I will sidearm it. When you do like that, you lift your finger up and it'll spool right off. Just like that. Whoop. Then you put your hand around the line and simply roll to reel it back in. Super simple. Now this plastic lid right here, that's what's holding there's the end of the line going inside. These lids are available wherever you're buying pet food because they're just simply a vinyl lid. Mine's getting old and brittle, time for me to replace it. Inside the can I put all kinds of fishing tackle like lures, a stringer, floats, extra hooks, weights, etc. I put down inside the can. These lids are around the pet food section. It's where you're going to open up a can of Alpo, dip some out, and then you want to seal it up and put it in the fridge. That's what these lids are for, and you'll find them where the pet food is you're going to add. And that locks on, keeping it, so my tackle box is my fishing reel. Okay, super simple. This is, like I said, we're going camping, and I would like to fish for a little bit of foraging, an extra meal. Notice I don't have a lot here. I have just what I need to be able to fish in different situations. In this can I have fake earthworms. They're gulp fake earthworms. I have a couple of little small jigs. I have a couple of little crappie jigs. I have a couple of little woolly booger flies, a few sets of small hooks, a couple of lead weights, and 2 or 3 little floats. For bait other than artificial, I'm going to look around for dead trees, rotten logs laying on the ground. They are a haven for all kinds of worms, grubs, and etc. And that's what you look for. Peel the bark up and you will find bait. And I can put bait into that can, can't I? I can lift that lid up and actually stick grubs or something in the top of it and put the lid back on and be able to carry it back to where I'm fishing. See? And I've got a small little Ziploc bag that's got holes in it for air. I can take out and add my wiggler, my grub, my whatever I find into it, zip it up and put it in a shirt pocket, take it over there to fish. Now this is just a simple hobo reel, quick and easy. But what is one step below that? What is your survival fishing kit? Okay, we'll go into that. When we say survival fishing kit, what comes to my mind is I was not planning on fishing, but I want that capability in my haversack or in my kit, right? So that means that I'm not carrying a tackle box. I'm not carrying a bunch of lures. I'm not whatever. If I'm having to do survival, then I'm having to forage for food. I'm predominantly going to be putting drop lines and things in place, so I'm going to do that. So, for that, in my haversack, I carry a little tin. Now this is simply a little mint tin that you get from Cracker Barrel. Little metal tin. I like these for this. Open it up, and what is sitting in there is snelled hooks. Now, as you know, snelled hooks already have line attached. Let me pull it out very gently, just like this. There's all the, one more. There we go. Now that's all the line. Now lift it up, and there's all the hooks. I have two sizes of hooks in here. This is a 1/0 hook, and it's got about 8 or 10 inches, and then a loop in it. It's about 20-pound test line right there. This is for catfish, okay? And then also in here, I have a very small hook. Also on a snell hook, see? That's like a number 6 right there. So these are already being gotten, gathered. Come on now. You do it slow. What you do is you gather up all the loops at the top and let all the hooks go at the bottom. You pull it out and you separate out the hook you want. Say, let's I want this little bitty hook right here, this small hook. You can catch a big fish on a small hook. Now, again, where am I going to get bait? Dead trees, rotten logs, rotten stumps. I'm going to look on the forest floor for something for bait. Now, I've got 6-8 inches of line there. That's enough that I'm not going to spook off the fish. Now, I take the other end of this and to this loop that's already tied in the end of it. I hope you can see that. That loop. I'm going to hook the inner line out of a 550 paracord or a piece of bank line or some other cord I got, see. Now I can take and make drop lines off of limbs over the water to act like a trot line if I'm in a survival situation. Or I can take this and cut me a nice flexible little limb, run me out a piece of bank line 6-8 feet long, hook to this, hook to the pole, and I've got a keen fishing pole. But at Blackie, you need a float. Take a little stick off the ground that floats and just simply take the line and do a clove hitch in the middle of that stick, little short stick, and it'll act as a bobber and float. Real simple. This is as down and dirty as it gets right here. Because with this, you've got all the tackle you really need, because the hook and the line is the important part. The rest I can improvise off the landscape. To put it up, all I gotta do is open it up. I lay all the hooks together, just like that. And then very gently, I start coiling in the line, just like that, until all the lines are inside. I really like these little tins for this because it's got a rolled in lip and it allows me to hook the line underneath that lip under there so it doesn't pop back out instantly. And just close the lid. Now I've got room in there to put a fly or two or some other little thing, just like that. That is a survival fishing kit. How many hooks have I got in here? 10. I've got 5 of the big heavy hooks and 5 of the small hooks. Now, you start with a small hook. You get your grubs, your worms, or whatever, and you put them out, okay? Now, when you catch a fish that's too small to eat, that becomes bait for the big hook. Now you take the big hook and you hook the hook through the middle of the spine of the little bitty fish, and you hang it up. Don't put it in the water yet, just hang it up. Let it stink. Catfish come to stink. And since the line on the 1/0 hook is a heavier gauge than one on the 6 hook, I'm already set up. Bank line, the inner line, the small bank line or a single strand of bank line is plenty strong enough to handle catfish. And I just rig me up a pole and sit there and wait for the cats. So a fish too small to eat from the small hook becomes the bait for the big hook. See? Now I catch a good sized hand-sized fish out of the small hook, I gut it to clean it, and I put the guts on the big hook and put that out. Catfish come to stink. And so the more it smells, the better it is to catch catfish. So it's a real simple little thing. So, to recap, if we're going fishing, I bring the rod, the boat, everything else. If we're going out camping or hiking in certain cases, and I just want to supplement and try to forage for food, like try to catch me something for supper, I'll do this. How will you cook it? I'll cook it over an open fire by using skewers and putting it out on a frame I made out of green sticks and cook it that way. So I don't need a fry pan. I can just basically bake it in the reflector oven type heat of a fire and cook the fish. So this would be my, I'm going camping and I want to try to forage a little bit. What of survival? It rides in the haversack or in the rucksack, and that's my little survival kit, which is going to be snelled hooks. If you carry just the hooks and you try to tie a bank line to it or whatever, fish may be put off by that. They can see the line. That's the reason there's that section about 6-8 inches of that clear line to help fool the fish a little bit, and therefore you'll get more fish that way. So in the survival set, all I need is hooks. Now what else can these hooks be used for? Well, in a worst case scenario, I can straighten the hook out and use it almost like an awl to sew with, and use that line to very coarsely sew up a piece of gear with that line if I had to. I've had to straighten out hooks before and use it as an awl and a sewing tool. So it can be done. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And go make you up your own little hobo fisher. It's a lot of fun. It's not a lot of problem to carry. And whenever I get out there, I can fish for a little bit. I got a little bit of tackle. And when I get done, I can just hang it off the back of the haversack and hit home. No big muss or fuss. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.